The real estate industry got absolutely rocked by a massive lawsuit in the States, and it's already having ripple effects into Canada with similar class action suits filed here. So will this have an impact here in Victoria on real estate agent commissions? I think there's going to be some big changes for sure, but not quite what everyone seems to be expecting. First, here in BC, we already have some of the lowest commission rates in Canada and North America. A little history, commission rates in BC used to be 6 or 7%, which made sense when houses cost $50,000 or $60,000. As home prices rose above $100K, it made more sense to introduce a tiered structure such as 6% on the first $100,000 and 3% on the balance. In the States, they never widely adopted the tiered structure like we did. There are no standard commission rates in BC, but the 6 and 3 model is a very common one in Victoria. For example, on a $1 million home, that's $33,000 plus GST. In the States, for example, where 6% is more common, that's $60,000 for a $1 million home. Commissions in BC have always been 100% negotiable, and again, there's never been any standard rates. You can pay the buying agent as little as $1 to list on MLS, and you can negotiate with the selling agent whatever commission you want. The commission generally gets split between the selling agent and the agent who brings the buyer. The heart of the lawsuit was that when sellers signed the MLS listing agreement in the US, they felt coerced into having to pay a commission to the buying agent. I don't know what the MLS contracts look like in the US, but here in BC, it's very clear, it's very well disclosed how much the commission rates are and how everybody gets paid. Along with the settlement money, MLS commission splits will no longer be allowed to be posted to MLS in the States. This is an attempt to stop the practice of agents steering clients away from homes that didn't offer a higher commission rate. There's a good CBC documentary from a few years back that did an expose on this practice. On a side note, this is why it's important for agents to never say it's free to use a buying agent. That's incorrect. The buyer brings all the money to the table to the transaction. They then pay the seller, and the seller pays both the listing agent and the buying agent. So ultimately, if you look at it that way, the buyer does pay the buying agent, and that's maybe what wasn't properly being disclosed in the States. Will the ruling lead to lower commissions? Maybe, maybe not. We've seen many businesses try and fail to offer lower commissions over the years. In fact, many other countries have lower rates, the average being 2% or so. The result is no central MLS boards, no industry standards, a system that's a lot riskier and a lot harder to navigate for buyers and sellers. Just like how the internet didn't replace realtors, how I don't think AI is going to replace realtors anytime soon. It's a business that's way too dependent on relationships, local connections, and all the human elements that are involved in it. And I think there's always going to be an important role for good buyer agents. The outcome I think we will see from this lawsuit, which I'm a huge advocate of, is more transparency, which is an extremely good thing for consumers. More disclosures, maybe more exclusive buyer agency agreements, and more explanation of what's included in our fees and why it brings value to both sellers and buyers. I think this lawsuit will result in us having to work harder to justify our commissions, particularly for buying agents, which again is a win for consumers. Agents who bring real value will continue to excel, but we might see a few part-time agents or agents who only sell a handful of properties a year drop out. The reality is for agents to do a lot of business, we know it can take 20, 30, or 40 showings, multiple collapsed offers, and negotiations to close a deal. Like any professional, you're paying for their years of experience up to that point when buying or selling a home, and I don't think these experienced agents will take a big pay cut. This is also a job that requires working weekends, evenings, and basically being on call 24/7. If they switch to an hourly billing model or a flat fee to work with buyers, then that's really going to hurt first-time home buyers who are already struggling in this market and won't be able to pay upfront costs. I want to hear your experiences with real estate commissions. How much commission did you pay? And do you think your agent was overpaid, underpaid, or paid just right for the work they did? And where do you think this industry is headed? The real estate industry is going to change with this ruling, and we can embrace it with new transparency and see it as an opportunity to really prove our value to consumers now. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.